Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You're knowing what you are wanting?
Yes.
It is nice to know that under all conditions that well-being abounds. We are eager to talk with you about the laws of the universe and how they affect you. But more important, we are eager to express to you our appreciation to you and your willingness to play the important physical role of creation that you play. You are source energy beings, and you are expressing here in this physical body at the same time that you are source energy beings. And that is something that is a bit of a surprise to so many people because they are accustomed to thinking in terms of being dead or alive, physical or non-physical. They're accustomed to thinking about being non-physically focused or physically focused. So much so that often when we are interacting with you, you ask us, well, Abraham, why aren't you physical? As if we are not, as extensions of that which you are. You want to know when you will be non-physical, and we say, always. And you say, no, I mean, when I withdraw my attention from this time-space reality and I become non-physically focused, then will I be not different than I am here and now? And we say, of course, there are different vantage points. We're expressing to you from a vantage point of non-physical. And we have the advantage of pure positive energy. We have the advantage of being always in this vortex of creation that you are helping to carve out. But you play a very important role. You said, I'll come forth into this physical body as an extension of source energy for the purpose of exploring the contrast that surrounds. And as I explore the contrast, you said, before you made your trip from non-physical to physical, you said, as I explore the contrast, I know that it will serve me in a very powerful way because from the contrast, you said this, I in my physical form will be able to focus clearly from my selfish perspective that which I think would be an improvement from where I stand. And when you realized that you would do that, you also realized that when in your physical body, by knowing what you don't want and therefore knowing more clearly what you do want, you knew that when you know what you don't want and therefore know more clearly what you do want, you knew that you would then send off a rocket of desire, a vibrational request that the non-physical part of you receives in the same way that you are vibrationally connected to something not known. Many of you are connected to something that you don't know in the sense that you can't see it, you can't hear it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, you can't touch it. It's non-physical. So you're not very good at translating what's non-physical through your physical senses. In other words, you suspect there might be something there. You look around your planet and you see all of this magnificence. You see your planet spinning in perfect proximity to other planets, and you have an inkling, you're very wise and deductive in that way, that there must be something bigger going on than what you can see, hear, and experience with your physical senses. As wise as you are, you haven't managed to scrape enough dirt together to launch another Earth into orbit. In other words, you know that there is a bigger picture, but you can't see it. You can't translate it through your physical translators. But we want you to know that there is this non-physical world that existed before you came into this body and that is expanding as a result of you being in this body. And here's how it works. From your non-physical perspective, you set forth the intention to be here in this body. And a part of the consciousness that is you, that is source, sometimes you call it soul, inner being, some refer to it as God. A part of that consciousness comes forth into the physical personality known as you. As you explore, you constantly ask for more. You are constantly sending forth vibrational requests for expansion, for improved expansion. And when those vibrational rockets precede you, even though you can't see them, they are received by the larger part of you. And the larger part of you becomes the vibrational equivalent of the request that you have set forth. So what that means, we've been explaining that to you in earlier conversations by saying when you ask and contrast insist that you do, it is given, or source answers the request. But today we would like you to understand it in even more full fashion, that when life causes you to ask for more, the larger part of you not only answers it, but vibrationally becomes it, becomes the vibrational equivalent of your request. What that means to you is that when you, through life, uncover what you consider to be a situation or a problem, you immediately launch, even though you don't know you've done it, the equivalent solution to that problem. In the moment that a question occurs to you, the answer occurs in the non-physical form, because every particle of the universe contains that which is not wanted and that which is wanted, or that which is wanted and that which is not wanted. So, we've been spending time with you. We've been flowing through Esther for a number of years, and in this format we have offered many different explanations in an attempt to help you to understand more fully who you are, but most important, how you fit into the big picture. And we want you to understand that you don't just fit into the big picture, you are the big picture. You are source energy. You are creator. You have come forth to explore for the purpose of taking thought beyond that which it has been before. You are an eternally expanding being. You can't stop that. You can't even slow it down. But what you can do, and many of you do in your physical form, is that your contrast causes you to expand, but you don't keep up with your expansion. So the longer you live, the more you expand. The longer you live, the more you expand. The more you hold fast to beliefs and ideas that don't let you take your expansion. So the greater discord happens between who you are and who you are. Your babies coming in, they're aligned. The more they hang around with you, the less aligned they are. Because you find so much to fuss and worry about in your exploration of contrast. Now, that in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's perfectly wonderful to look around your world and acknowledge the parts of it that you do not want. But when you keep the parts that you do not want active within you, you prevent yourself from being a vibrational match to the parts you do want, you see. And we just want you to understand that you have the ability to do a much better job of tuning yourself than you usually do. Tuning yourself to the furthest expansion of who you are. Jerry and Esther have been making their way from California here for the last several days. And in the process, they've been thinking about ways that it could be better. And it's really fun to watch them constantly trying to figure out how this could be a little better and how this could be a little better. And so this morning, they were chatting about some new ideas they have about making their transfer from place to place the best that they can possibly think of. And as they are conjuring these new ideas and contemplating and chewing around them, Esther found herself pointing out something that happened a long time ago in a hotel parking lot on the other side of this continent. And Esther said, that was the day with that drive shaft disconnect that I really hurt my knee. And Jerry said, I remember that. And Esther said, maybe we shouldn't dig up bad things that we didn't like and activate them again now. And yet, there is this walk down memory lane. Sometimes in the process of defining what you want, you're pointing out some of what you didn't want. And we say, that's part of the deciphering process, isn't it? You don't really know clearly what you do want until you've lived a little bit of what you don't want. It's all part of the focusing process. But it's so interesting how in that focusing process, you come to new conclusions that work better for you. But then it seems, and this is the thing that trips you up more than all other things put together, it seems. You defend your new choice by reminding yourself how bad it was before. Not realizing that every time you return to that, you reactivate the vibration of that which keeps you from clearly and purely being a match to who you now are and what you really want. That's why family reunions feel so awful. You go back to that place where you used to live and back to that place where you used to vibrate differently, and you talk to those people who remember you as you were then, even though you are in a whole different vibrational place. And as you go there and focus and remember and look through family albums and watch those old videos and talk over old times, you activate who you were that does not jive with who you are. And when you do that, you feel less good the longer you do it. You say, oh, it's nostalgia. And we say, oh, it's disconnection from who you really are. Now, physical humans, you don't get very excited when a desire is born within you often. Those of you who have come to understand the power of your creative ability, those of you who have come to understand that when you align with your own desire and therefore offer no resistance, those of you who know that are thrilled in the moment of the birthing of the desire. Oh, good, something to want, something to focus upon, something to bring myself into vibrational alignment with. But humans who don't understand focus, who don't understand energy, who don't understand vibration, who don't understand eternity, who don't understand who you were before you came into this body, who don't understand that even while you're in this body, the larger part of you still remains non-physically focused, those humans who don't understand that, who don't remember the big picture, those humans do not take any sort of delight in the launching of a desire until they've figured out how to bring it into manifestation. In other words, until most humans know how it's going to come, when it's going to come, where it's going to come from, who's going to help them. In other words, if you've got someone that you believe can assist you, someone who will back you up financially or support you in some way, most humans are not all that excited about a new unfulfilled desire. And the operative word is unfulfilled. That's the operative word. Unfulfilled. Unfulfilled. Where's it going to come from? Where am I going to get it? Who's going to bring it? How's it going to come? If you don't have answers to those questions, and you almost never have answers to those questions in the beginning of a launch, then your desire doesn't feel good to you. It feels like absence of something wanted. Because when you stand in a manifested reality, and your manifestation does not include the new desire that you just hatched, or the new desire you hatched yesterday, or the new desire you hatched last year or 18 years ago, that new desire that you hatched that you haven't figured out how to fulfill, it's not ringing your bells usually, because you have forgotten the process. And the most important thing to understand is you are so enamored with your manifested reality that since you look at your reality and you can't see the car you want in your driveway, or the mate you want in your bed, or the money you want in your bank account, you can't see the way to book those tickets for that flight to that place you want to be. If you can't figure out how it's going to come about, then that desire is haunting for many of you, and unpleasant for many of you, and annoying for many of you, and defeating for many of you, the physical yous who are surrounding this planet. So we want to help you to understand that, yes, of course, there is always a gap between the hatching of an idea or the hatching of a desire and its manifestation, but you don't have to wait for the manifestation in order to know the reality of it. Because everything that is ever manifested in your life experience, there has been a vibrational reality that preceded it. And that vibrational reality is where the source within you stands. It's where your inner being is. It's where the larger part of you is. It's where your creation has already come together. It's where all cooperative components have come about. And it's the place that we are calling the vortex of creation. You came forth into this body and you are comparing and sorting and sifting through data. And all day, every day, you are launching preferences vibrationally, just like all creators do. And as you launch those preferences vibrationally, even though you and others in your neighborhood might not be able to see it because it has not manifested in a way that it can be translated through your physical senses, it exists nevertheless. It is a vibrational reality. And we hope today that we are able to bring you to the place where you are able to feel the content of your vibrational reality as vividly as we feel it and see it and know it to be. Because if you can accept the reality, the concrete reality of your vibrational reality, the reality that precedes all manifestations, and if you can begin today to look forward to your vibrational reality, you will today begin to live your life the way you intended to do it. Think about it. As source energy coming forth into a physical body, you actually made the decision to come forth, get ready for the drum roll, into an infant body with no teeth. An infant body, not able to even stand up. An infant